Welcome to Object-Oriented Programming course. In today's lecture, we will learn about UML diagrams, especially use case diagrams in detail. Let us start. Unified Modeling Language or UML. UML is a general purpose graphical modeling language in the field of software engineering. Developed to help the system and software developers for specifying, visualizing, constructing, and documenting the artifacts of software system. UML was created by Object Management Group or OMG. UML is not a programming language. It is rather a visual language. UML is a visual language for developing software blueprints or designs. For example, while constructing a building, designer or the architect develops the building blueprints. Similarly, while developing a software, before starting the actual development work, we need to prepare the designs. To prepare that designs, we need to visually represent the design. So UML is the visual language to specify the visual representation of the software design. It is not just for the design. For the entire artifacts, there are UML diagrams with which we can create the visual representation of the software artifacts. So UML is a graphical representation language. Unified Modeling Language is most commonly and frequently used language for building software system blueprints. UML can be used for business modeling and other non-software systems also. In UML, there are a lot of different diagrams to get used to. The reason for these many diagrams is that it is possible to look at a system from many different viewpoints of the stakeholders. In a software development system, there are different stakeholders. For example, analysts will come up with the requirements, designers will prepare the software designs, coders will do the programming, testers will do the testing of the testing, and the quality assurance team will take care of the process. Of course, the customer is the end user, and technical others will be focusing at preparing the technical documentation. So there are different people playing different roles in the software development system. So using UML language, you can prepare different diagrams catering to the needs of different stakeholders. UML diagrams. UML is linked with the object-oriented design and analysis. We can broadly classify the UML diagrams into two categories: behavior diagram and structure diagram. Structure diagram capture the static aspect or the structure of the system. Behavior diagram capture the dynamic aspect or the behavior of the system. There are different behavior diagrams: activity diagram, state machine diagram, use case diagram, interaction diagram. All are behavior diagrams. Even for interaction diagram, there are again subcategories: communication diagram, interaction overview diagram, sequence diagram, timing diagram. In structure diagram, there are different categories: class diagram, component diagram, object diagram, composite structure diagram, deployment diagram, package diagram. So these are the different kinds of UML diagrams. In this table, different UML diagrams are summarized. As per first module, we have to study class diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram, package diagram, use case diagram, sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, state chart diagram, and activity diagram. In today's lecture, we will focus on use case diagram. Use case diagram. A UML use case diagram is the primary form of software requirements. So it is to represent the software requirements in a graphical way, in a diagrammatic way. You can represent the software requirements. It is a behavior diagram to illustrate a set of actions or use cases that a system can perform in tandem with one or more external users of the system or actors. The purpose of a use case diagram in UML is to demonstrate the different ways that a user might interact with a system. It is an effective technique for communicating system behavior in the user's terms by specifying all externally visible system behaviors. It does not show the order in which the steps are performed to achieve the goal of each use cases. A use case means essentially a functionality. We will come to the details of each things. A use case diagrams are typically developed in the early stage of software development. It is developed by the analyst together with the domain experts to gather the requirements of a system. Identify the external and internal factors influencing the system. It show the interaction among the requirements and actors. Using use case diagram, we can validate the system architecture. Using this, we can drive the implementation and generate test cases. To generate the test cases, use case diagram plays a very crucial role, because from the use case diagram, it is very easy to prepare the requirements. And the same is used to prepare the final test cases. So during the testing stages, we will be verifying whether the software is satisfying all the requirements. So this use case diagram can be used to prepare the test cases. Do we really need a graphical representation for these requirements? See here, this table is containing a small requirement specification, some portion of the requirements from a software problem. So we have numbered requirements. For each requirement, a description is given and the type, everything is given. So if you read all these requirements text, you can get the understanding of the system in a high level manner. You will come to know what are the features to be implemented in that system. Using this diagram also, we can represent the same thing. If you see this, one user is interacting with the system, he is essentially trying to order movie tickets. So in that order movie ticket action, that operation is happening by processing the credit card, and there is another feature that manage pickup. So in the ordering movie ticket involves two other actions. So using this use case diagram, we can easily convey the requirements. Instead of reading the entire documentation, if you represent it in a graphical manner, it is very easy to communicate with all the stakeholders. So that is the advantage of use case diagram. So there is a need for it. Let us try to understand each elements or each components of a use case diagram. So first thing, actor. Actor is represented using this stickman icon. One actor can be associated with multiple use cases in the system. Here, this customer is interacting with withdraw money, deposit money, check balance. So he can interact with multiple use cases in the system. Actor is someone who interacts with the use case or the system function. Actor is an outsider to the system boundary, who plays a role in the operating role in the operations of the system logic. Okay, so actor is an outsider to the system. So this is the system boundary. So actor is an outsider. He interacts with the system. Actor triggers use cases. Actor is not an insider to the system. Actor has a responsibility towards the system. That means he will provide inputs, and actor has expectation from the system. That is nothing but the outputs. As I mentioned, actor is not a user. It is more like a role played by a user while using a system. Another point we need to remember is that actor is an outsider to the system. A very common mistake when we means identify the actors is like, see, for example, consider the case of this small use case diagram. Here, waiter, customer, cashier. We are modeling the we are preparing the business use case for a restaurant. This is an incorrect way of identifying the actors. Actor should be an outsider. So if you consider waiter as an actor, it is a wrong assumption. Waiter is already involved in the system itself, and the cashier are also an insider to the system. So while identifying the actor, we have to take care of this point. An ideal actor is an outsider to the system. He should be outside the system boundary. Use case. Next thing is use case. A horizontally shaped oval that represents different uses that the user might have. A use case represents a distinct functionality of a system, a component, a package, or a class. This is the representation of a use case. Represents a system function, automated or manual. Each actor must be linked to a use case, while some use cases may not be linked to actors. So an actor should be linked to at least one use case. Structuring use case diagrams with relationship. There can be 5 relationship types in a use case diagram. They are association between actor and use cases, generalization of use case, generalization of an actor, extend relation between two use cases, include relationship between two use cases. These are the representation for each relationship. We will see each of them in detail. Association. Let us see the details of the first relation, association. A line between actor and use cases. It is represented as a line between the actor and use cases. The participation of an actor in a use case is shown by connecting an actor to a use case by a solid link. An actor must be associated with at least one use case. Actor may be connected to use case by associations, indicating that the actor and the use cases communicate with one another using messages. UML allows the use of multiplicity or cardinality at one or both ends of association between the actor and use cases. Just see this example. Here, player is the actor and the use case is play game. And the cardinality numbers are mentioned here. Here 2 dot star and here 1. That means 2 or more players are needed to play one game. That is the meaning. And another point what we need to understand is that association represents the means participation of an actor in a with a use case. It is not actor to actor. This is the connection between the actor and the use case. Generalization of an actor. Generalization uses the concept of inheritance. Generalization of an actor means that one actor can inherit the role of another actor. The descendant inherits all the use cases of the ancestor. The descendant has one or more use cases that are specific to that role. Let us see this example. Here we have a customer. This is a base type, and from the customer we have a specialized form. We have a specialized type, special type of customer, NRFC customer. So can you just tell how many use cases are there for this NRFC customer? NRFC customer is inheriting all the use cases of the parent. That is, this actor is having 2 use cases. So obviously, this NRFC will be having 2 plus 1, 3 use cases. Next thing is use case generalization. Again, this is also based on the concept of inheritance. A use case generalization is a directed relationship from a child use case to a parent use case, specifying how a child can specialize all behaviors and characteristics described for the parent. A parent use case may be specialized into one or more child use cases that represent more specific forms of the parent. Consider this example. Here, place order is a use case that is actually a base type, that is the parent use case. From this parent use case, there are 2 derived use cases. One is phone order, internet order. Both are actually specialized form of the parent use case. Both are specialized form of the base type. A child inherits all structure, behavior, and relationship of the parent. Neither the parent nor the child necessarily be abstract, although the parent in most cases is abstract. That is another point. Usually, parent use case may be abstract, but it is not mandatory. And the representation is that the arrow will be pointing to the base. In this example, bank ATM transaction is a general use case, means it's a base type. Withdraw cash is a specialized or a derived use case from this bank ATM transaction. The arrow is pointing to the base. Extend relationship between two use cases. Extend is a directed relationship that specifies how and when the behavior defined in extending use case can be inserted into the extended use case. The extending use case is dependent on the extended or the base use case. The extended or the base use case must be meaningful on its own. The optional extending use case is triggered conditionally at extension point. An extension point is a feature of an extended use case by which it decides to extend its functionality by inserting the extending use case. The extension point may be shown in a compartment of the use case oval symbol under the heading extension point. Each extension point must have a name. Let us consider this example. Here, this registration and get help, these two are actually having the extend relationship. Here, registration is extending its functionality by using the get help use case. So, registration is the extended use case and get help is the extending use case. The arrow is pointing from the extending use case to the extended use case, and this extending use case is inserted into the extended use case at extension point. Extension point is the time at which the decision is clear. Here that decision to whether to include or not is taken like when the user clicked on the help link, this get help is inserted. So the usage of this extending use case is optional. It is decided based on the condition. Let us consider this example. Here the customer can deposit funds. At the time of deposit is an extended use case. There is another extending use case named calculate bonus. So optionally, this fund deposit will use calculate bonus. So at the time of fund deposit, it will check for the condition. That means if the amount is above 10,000 and if the age is above 55, that is our extension point. If this condition is meeting, that means this fund deposit reaches its extension point, then it will include the functionalities of the extending use case. In short, if the deposited fund is above 1,000 or the customer age is above 55, at the time of fund deposit, it will calculate the bonus. Otherwise, it will not. So that is the summary of the extend relationship between two use cases. And the representation. Using oval, we represent the use case. In the case of a use case with extension point, there will be two compartments. Upper compartment will show the use case name. Below that, there will be a heading extension point. Below that heading, all the extension points will be listed. There can be multiple extension points. In this example, only one extension point is there, that is registration help. Next one is include relationship between two use cases. Use case include is a directed relationship between two use cases, which is used to show that behavior of the included use case is inserted into the behavior of the including use case. The include relationship shows that the behavior of the included use case is part of the including base use case. In the case of extend, it was optional to add insert the features, but in the case of include, it is part of relationship. That means you have to mandatorily insert the features of the including use case. The main reason for this is to reuse the common actions across multiple use cases and to simplify complex use cases. The base use case is incomplete without the included use case. Here, use case A is a base use case and it is including use case B. As I said, without including B, use case A is incomplete. You have to include use case B into use case A. Let us consider this example. Here, deposit is one including use case. Calculate bonus Okay, sorry. Deposit is okay. Deposit is including update balance. Withdraw is also including update balance. That means after your deposit operation, you have to update the balance. After withdraw operation, you have to update the balance. It is not based on any condition, and there is nothing like the concept of extension point. It is all you have to include it. It is not conditional. So there is no separate inclusion point. Uh, and the representation uh, in the case of include, see this example here. Banking transaction is a base use case. uh, Customer authentication, this customer authentication is including banking transaction, so it is not optional, it is mandatory to insert the functionalities of the including use case. And you need to take care of the direction of the arrow. In the case of extend, it was pointing to the base. In the case of include, it is pointing to the included relationship. Banking transaction is the including use case, and customer authentication is the included use case. Next thing is system boundary, an optional box that sets the system scope to use cases. All use cases outside the box would be considered outside the scope of that system. If no box is given, all use cases are within the system scope. That is a default behavior. If system boundary is not specified, all the use cases will be within the system scope. The system boundary is potentially the entire system as defined in the requirements document. For large and complex system, each module maybe it's having its own system boundary. See in this example, our ATM banking system, this rectangle represents a system boundary. If we have anything beyond the scope of our system, we should represent such use cases beyond the system boundary. And we need to recollect the point that actor is outside the system boundary. Another point is package. Packages are optional UML construct that enables you to organize model elements such as use cases into groups. Packages are depicted as file folders and can be used on any UML diagrams, including both use case diagram and class diagram. So this is the symbol used to represent the package. It is essentially the folder symbol. In this example, a general member is an actor, and that actor is interacting with membership. Membership is a package. That package is having multiple use cases. So it is used to group the use cases or class diagram. It is a general construct to organize the model elements. Business use case modeling notations. In the beginning of our lecture, I mentioned that UML can be used to model even non-software problems. This is dealing with that point only. Support for business modeling is declared as a goal of UML. UML specification provides no additional notations for business use case modeling. So this is a deficiency in the UML specification. Business use cases were introduced in rational unified process. This RUP is something like, you can understand it like a superset of UML. RUP is having all the UML notations plus its own notations. Business use case should produce a result of observable value to a business actor. So it is used to represent the non-software problem. Business use defines what happens in the business when the use case is requested by business actor. It describes a complete workflow or the business process. Business use case is represented in RUP with use case oval and a line crossing it. This oval and a line crossing it. This represents a business use case. Business actor is represented in RUP by a stickman icon with a line crossing its head. So a line crossing its head represents a business actor. Not defined in the UML specification. It is part of the RUP. See this example here. A candidate is a business use case, and candidate is a business actor, and apply job is a business use case. Both are represented this closing represented by the additional closing line. Here we have an example. This is a use case diagram of a hospital management system. In this example, all the concepts what we learned today are used. Actor generalization, use case generalization, extend relation, include relation. Here even extension points are represented. System boundary is mentioned. So whatever concept we learned, all are applied in this example. Pause here and try to understand this system. Okay, in today's class, we learned about use cases, actors, associations, system boundary, different types of relations existing, and the way in which we can represent the cardinality. Okay, this particular symbol I did not explain. This is just to mention the comment in your diagram. If you want to add any comment, you can use this comment note. This here you can mention your note. This you will use when you are using software tools to create your use case diagram or class diagram and so on. So these are the major concepts what we learned today. Thank you for watching.